G'day folks, I'm Wren, they, them, and today I have 5 queer picture book recommendations. So I think there is something so healing about being an adult and reading picture books, especially the ones that are being brought out in this day and age compared to when I was actually a kid, because now we're getting inclusive stories. You know, we're getting picture books where everyone looks a little different, everyone does things a little different, and we're trying to normalize all those things because they're normal. And the fact that there are so many queer picture books is amazing. So here are just 5 of the queer picture books that I've read that I have really enjoyed for different reasons, and I think these 5 actually cover a pretty wide net of the queer community. So let's get into the first one. So the first one is Pride, the story of Harvey Milk and the Rainbow Flag by Rob Sanders and Stephen Salerno. This hits really hard. So this is maybe for slightly older but still children, because this is talking about historic events. So this is a non-fiction, and it is about Harvey Milk, who was do you call him a politician? He was in politics, and he was openly queer, and he was kind of instrumental in a lot of queer goings on at that particular time period. And he was the one that approached a particular artist to create the rainbow flag. From that point on, the rainbow flag has been a part of queer culture, and he did so many wonderful things for the queer community. And this is just really talking about some of those things that he did. The creation of the original rainbow flag in like 1978. This is such a beautiful story, and I want to reread it over and over and over again, because it's such an important part of queer history that I think a lot of people should know. The art style is so stunningly beautiful, and it just reading it, I felt proud to be queer reading that story. I would love for kids to grow up reading this type of book and being like, yeah, I can do anything. I can stand up for what I believe in and help other people in whatever position I'm in, you know? Next, we kind of have 2 books in one, and that is the My Shadow Is series by Scott Stewart. So we have My Shadow is Pink and My Shadow is Purple. These are phenomenal stories and so sweet, because Scott wrote this to help his son. The one story that Scott always tells is that his kid wanted to go see Frozen in cinemas or something, and he wore an Elsa dress. Scott didn't see anything wrong with that. You know, his kid wants to dress up, his kid can dress up. But other people had issues with it. So he wanted to tell the story of a kid not really fitting those stereotypical gender roles, and that being okay. And that is just so beautiful that this man wanted to step up for his son. Beautiful, beautiful story. And he has continued these kind of stories where it's about these kids that feel different on the inside than what people perceive of them on the outside. Tells of them going through the motions of understanding themselves and figuring out themselves and loving themselves, as well as realizing that it's okay to be who you are, whoever you are. You know, as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, it's okay. And these are just so beautiful. And honestly, if I had had these when I was a little bubba, it would have helped. And it would have helped my parents as well. Because I think that's something really great about picture books, is that while they are teaching the children, they're also teaching the adults. Number 3 is Auntie Uncle, Drag Queen Hero by Ellie Royce and Hannah Chambers. So this is a beautiful picture book. It is about this kid who has an auntie uncle because their parent sibling is a drag queen, and they will come see this kid in full drag and out of full drag. And so the term that they have come up with is auntie uncle. Just the beautiful acceptance of that, phenomenal. Then what happens is this auntie uncle receives an award, and they're struggling with who to present on stage. You know, do they be their drag queen self or their out of drag self? and they really struggle with that. The kid helps them through that, which is very beautiful, and they come up with an amalgamation of themselves that they can present their full self to everyone, all parts of who they are. And it's beautiful. I think it's really lovely that there's this picture book that's not so much centered around the child, it's centered around someone very close to that child. And that's beautiful, especially as someone who has nieces and nephews. Having a story where it shows them that your auntie, uncle, whatever name you want to give them is going through something, and it's okay because like kids get it, right? Oh my god, it's phenomenal. It's beautiful. And the artwork, stunning. So for number 4, we have I Am Jazz by Jessica Herthel, Jazz Jennings, and Sheila McNichols. So this is another non-fiction, and this is about Jazz Jennings, who is a transgender celebrity figure. I don't actually know too much about them, but I did read their picture book, and it was so beautiful because it tells the story of Jazz as a kid, of being stuck in a body that you feel like is not yours, and then having to explain that to your parents at such a young age, and then to explain it to your teachers and kids at school. So hard to do, but this book really goes through like that process of understanding the word transgender as a child, because that word is used in this picture book, which is amazing. And then, you know, being able to describe it in a way that children would understand. And then having everything that goes along with being trans at such a young age, and how Jazz was able to be Jazz as a young kid, and having the support of their parents and their friends. But it's told in such a positive way that there's nothing too upsetting about anything that's happening in there. It's a very, very uplifting story and wholesome. Artwork again is beautiful, and it's just such a nice way to introduce kids to people who are transgender and to help them understand the struggle, like the internal struggle of being transgender, where your mind, your sense of self doesn't fit what the world sees. And I think that's a really great way to get kids used to the terms and really to help kids empathize with queer people of all kinds. And it was just done in such a beautiful way that I want so many kids to read this book. And then the last picture book I have to recommend is Mama, Mummy and Me in the Middle by Nina LaCour and Kailani Juanita. I didn't know that Nina LaCour wrote a picture book. So cool. I've only read a few Nina LaCours, but I've loved them. So I was really, really keen to read this picture book. This is about 2 women who are, you know, in a committed relationship and are raising a daughter. And what happens is one of the mummies has to go away for a work trip. And it tells the week that the mum was gone and just how much this woman's partner and her child were missing her. But does it in such like a beautiful way. And what I love about this is like, it's not focusing on it being a queer book, right? It's just teaching, you know, children how to deal with someone being away for a little while and missing someone or missing a pet or things like that, and realizing that, you know, it's okay to be sad when someone's gone. And it's like, it just so happens that this girl has 2 mums. You know, it's treated so normally, and I love that with all my heart and soul. Like, while I want a lot of books to be queer focused so that they can like teach people about things, I also want just random stories featuring queer people. You know, I want the normal everyday stories to just feature queer people and have that not be the main focus of the book. And that's what this does. And I think that is like one of the biggest ways to normalize being queer to kids, teens, adults, whatever, is to just treat it normally because it's normal, you know? But this was such a like really beautiful story, and like I felt myself getting a bit sad because I'm like, oh, this kid misses her mum. That's really sad. And then, you know, a big reunion when the mum comes home, and it's absolutely beautiful. And again, I want everyone to read this because it's just so lovely and sweet and the art was also absolutely phenomenal. So again, highly recommend this one. So there we have it. That is 5 queer picture books that I desperately want more people to read. I really love reading picture books. So if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know down below. I would love to hear whatever you have to recommend. And I really hope you give some of these books a chance. Like, you don't have to stop reading picture books because you're older than the typical age, right? You can read picture books as an adult and still get a lot of enjoyment out of it and a lot of perspective from it, because I have definitely learned things from some of the picture books that I've read later in life. So I really hope you give them a go at some point. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!